Good morning. Yes, yes, yes. The rock and roll lifestyle. Hot water bottle made in my lap, and I feel a lot better. There we go. Right, okay. Oh, right. Who've we got here? We've got a few on. So, we have myself messaging me. Hi, Josh. Morning. Mech. Hello. Yeah, got the email. Thank you. Ergo, hi. And Josh Klein again. Hello. Right, this is brilliant. So, we've got some stuff happening today. Sort of a guitar lesson, but in response to some questions. So I was asking like what sort of things on Discord people might be interested in hearing me cover, and we had a couple of questions. I'll just get Discord to remind me what they were. Right, whilst that boots up. And we'll just wait, see who else turns up. So yeah, hot water bottles are absolutely great at keeping your hands warm. Right. Right, 2 seconds. Right, good. I've got that organised. Just need to warm the old hands up. Good morning, Chris. How you doing? Yeah, so it's been really cold here in the UK. You know, we've had we had a bit of snow the other day. The car's frozen every morning, which isn't too much of a problem. I've just got to get in and drive it. Luckily, I've got a heated steering wheel, so that's brilliant. So, in terms of playing, I just get out the other end of the car and I'm ready. You know, my hands are perfectly warmed up on the steering wheel. It's brilliant. Every single car in the whole entire world should have a heated steering wheel. It's absolute luxury. Brilliant. And I forgot I actually had it. But then I realised, I was like, oh, what's this button do? Oh, that's brilliant, it's a heated steering wheel. Yeah, heated steering wheels and a heated seat, you can't, yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. So, yes, it's been just for guitar playing very, very, very busy. So yesterday, I kind of I didn't update, but I fixed the template and I've planned a bit of an upgrade for it. I just didn't have time to fully realise the full thing that I was trying to do. So basically just like a few of the problems are sorted, got the CPU down a little bit on it, and I was able to just mix in the sounds a little bit better. So I was doing that last night, and that's worked out really good for the live looping template anyway. And then the other thing was, and then the upgrade is, I think on my lead channel, I'm getting, I had to just sort of format the MC6 pedal. I'm getting that ready now, so it'll just change presets on the shred channel. So I'll have like six different sounds on there. So it'll be, I'll have a clean, I'll have like kind of, half mid distortion tone, like fusiony kind of compressed, overdriven breakup sound, and then probably three lead sounds. So I'll have like two of them will be like my usual one, but one's going to have like the wide setting on it. So I've got a couple of different sort of contrasting things on that, and I think that in combination with all the other sounds that I've got lined up, I'll work it out pretty good. So I can change presets on that channel because like I don't really record on it. So I don't like playing over the top of it. It's just for lead. It's my performance one. So that kind of makes sense. So I'm sort of ready to get that upgrade sorted and put into the sets. There's something to look forward to. Lots of different lead tones. How about that? All right. How many have we gone on? All right. I'll have a bit more of my coffee and then we'll start. Sorry keeping you guys waiting. I know it's boring, me sitting with a hot water bottle. So, and again, just at the beginning of the channel, before I start, I'm assuming you're gonna like the content, what's happening on here. So please do subscribe, and anybody who's on here now who's not subscribed to the channel, if you could subscribe, and like you know, I know it's a bit early now because you don't know who I am, but if you can do that, it would really help support the channel and help me, and that would be brilliant. And it makes it even, well, I mean, it's already worthwhile doing this channel, just for the small, wonderful people that we have here, you know, but I do want to grow it, and that would be cool. So, we'll have a look at the questions. So I always talk about like getting the most out of this channel, because I do like the fact that potentially it's a live resource for people to use. This is like what, you know, this channel, what I'm attempting to do over time is how I see the modern musician, or at least my route in it so far, which is, you know, I've got YouTube, which is my main platform, and what I'm using it to is, you know, when we're talking about, I've shown people before the zones of experience, you know, why are we doing things, what are we doing it for? That's the most important question to answer as an artist, because it's right at the top of the tree of all the other things, you know, things like forming habits, sorting out your studio space, your environment, skills and knowledge, you know, identity. These are all sort of lower level things in terms of coaching. The thing that's right at the top of that is the question, the existential question of, you know, why are we doing this? What am I leaving behind? What is the purpose? And it's really just occurred to me, because I'm usually a bit slow off the hook mark, that actually this is a great way to make that connection in a regular, consistent way. And, you know, I can choose to do a multitude of things, you know. I can perform in here, I can do gigs, I can do the morning streams, which I really like, because they're a mixture of absolutely everything, you know. And sometimes it's interest led by me, sometimes like today, you know, from other streams, other people participate and ask questions, you know, and that's like the best thing for me, because then I know that I'm totally connecting with everybody. You know, they're participating, they're asking something, and I know that, you know, because of that, that's something that's required, and I'm happy to explore those ideas with people. As I always say, I think one of the problems that we can run into is, you know, we've got all this knowledge through the internet at our fingertips, YouTube in particular, where there's lots of people, especially in the music production, you know, industrial complex, let's say, where, you know, with good intentions are just showing you how to fix problems that you haven't already had, you know. So, you know, that's like one of the things that I think is quite interesting. One of the things I'm pushing up against is that by offering, you know, almost on this week a daily support basis, somewhere to go for fellow musicians who are, you know, if you're into guitar playing. But, you know, initially this was all started through music production, really. But sort of it's holding hands now equally with guitar playing. So there's a lot of like cool stuff, I would say, happening here. So it's a great first place to stop and ask your questions and to get a good starting point. And also, you can potentially sit there working on your music while you're listening to me. And if you run into a problem, you can share that problem with everybody else. And that's how we grow. I mean, think about it, right? The way we create new knowledge for ourselves, the way that we move forward is because we're solving problems all the time. And that's how we do it. So that's my speech at the minute. And it's really weird. I'm sure there's that problem with the mics back again, despite me fixing it yesterday. But anyway, let's have a look at Discord, and we'll have a look at the questions. Get the guitar. Maybe have a tune. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, let's have a look. Right, let's see if there's. There we go. Look, there's Discord. Right. So, the questions were. There were two questions. One was from Ergo, and one was from Phantom Shade. Okay. So Ergo, we'll have a look at yours first. Okay. So, is this right? So Ergo was interested in one thing that strikes me in some of your phrase and ideas. How would you take an idea into a phrase or melodic phrasing? Conceptualizing the idea, I think, is the best way to put it. Now, Ergo's highly articulate, and I didn't understand what he said. So I just said, not sure 100% of your question, but it sounds very good though, doesn't it? And then he just kind of rephrased it. Just say E minor. You want to have a phrase that is starting on the A note, on the B string on the 10th fret, but ends on the E note on the D string on the 2nd fret. You have your rough idea of the route it needs to go, but how would you take and create more melodic phrases? Would be interesting to learn your thoughts and theories on how you would do it. Okay. And then the other question was from Phantom Shade. How about incorporating baby sweeps into picking patterns? Right, we can do that. Right, so let's come back. I'll just get this nice and big. Right, I don't need Discord. Two seconds. Right. Okay. Let's have a look at this. So please ask as many questions as you can. Obviously, I can't completely get into Ergo's head, so I don't 100% know exactly, 100% what's kind of going on here. But I'm going to try my best. Okay, shred. Just knock the effects down a bit. I love that room. It's great, isn't it? Footstool. Get organised. Yeah, the polychrome. So I'm using the Kiesel suite. The Kiesel Hyper Rig, sorry. Mixing the two different amps together. So the if you hear that, sounds like I'm in another room, you know? Like the amps in another room in the studio. It's great. All right, so Ergo's question about moving from here which is the 10th fret A note, and getting down to here on the 2nd fret. Now, I think what's interesting is we can incorporate the lesson that we had before. So I think there was one called How to Improvise, okay? So Ergo said we're in the key of E minor, okay? And we might have a planned route coming down here, but how would we think about the melodic phrasing? Well, the way that I would think about it again is those layers and having a look into the various different options that I have. So here I am with the note A, we're in E minor. Well, one of my favourite notes, as we say, that's to do with sort of my style, because I end up jamming a lot on neo soul stuff, that 9th note is there. So I've got that. And we've also got the pentatonic scale. So I've got a hexatonic sort of thing going. Now, with that 9th note, that gives me a nice melodic kind of place to go. And also we've got a little bit, on the G string, we've got the E and D. So we've got the 9th, we've got the 7th here as well. So there's a nice little phrase there. And we can slide down to that B note. And then if we look sort of down at the lower end here, we've got that little pentatonic shape, haven't we? It's like the very first box 1 position, but here. So we've got E, G. So we've got these little shapes. And we can connect them like that. So if we're phrasing, that's what we can do. So again, it's just building layers up. So there might be like different ways that I potentially would finger this. So that's kind of, that sort of fingering's based. It's almost getting me ready to play into an E minor 7 shape. And I think that's a really handy little shape there. So like there, what I'm playing is 7th fret on the 2nd string. Sorry, we've got the G, and then the A, and then I'm just barring with the 4th finger. So there's one little melodic phrase. I mean, if we didn't want to go down that way, we could just go down E minor 7. And I really just like adding, as I say, those 9ths in. And then obviously, going down this way, we've got other creative opportunities there. One thing I would probably do, if I don't know what the chord progression is, I'm going to avoid that C note there, because I know that's going to make me sound a bit amateur. So we get little patterns like this. So there we've got 4th finger pulling off to the 4th fret with the 1st finger. And we can do one of those there. So in other words, what we're doing is we're just working with this limitation and coming up with like lots of different improvised ideas. Now, the way to practice this is I would just literally play, maybe it's in slow motion, take things really slowly. And I wouldn't worry about jumping too much about the fretboard. Which is all cool as well. And just play things slowly. Get some of the options under the fingertips. Okay, so that's more the phrasing thing. We're going to have a look at shred possibilities in a minute. Now, here's a track I made earlier. Hopefully. Alright, there you go. Of course, it's going to be synthwave. See, that's nice there. So we'll start just oh. No, you put the question beautifully, Go. Right. I think that the thing we create the habit of learning is right. Sorry. I think the thing. We are creatures of habit, so learning the way other people do things can only make our musical ear stronger. That is true. But there's one thing that I would say about that. Is that by doing that, and I think there's a lot of overskill learning in the world. I think this goes hand in hand with like YouTube tutorials fixing things. At the end of the day, modern musician to me is somebody who is pretty much standalone, independent, who is somebody who is proactive and not reactive. One thing, I'm doing a lot of, being completely open about it. I'm doing like lessons like this, and I think the one thing that, and I've watched the views go up on my channel, and the one thing about doing this, right, versus doing the coaching, is this is certain, isn't it? Ergo, when you think about it, you've asked a question, and I'm kind of providing certainty. I'm saying this is the way that I would do it. This is the way you could do it. When you're teaching somebody, you're installing skills. So, if there's something they come into you to learn, that's what there's an expectation, there's a future expectation. If I go to Tim to learn legato, he will teach me legato. I will have eventually, providing I do all of my practice, will have legato like Tim/Hutch, okay? And that provides you with this future certainty, which is what we like, isn't it? And when you're playing guitar, there's no time back guarantee, is there? And what you don't want to do is you don't want to waste your time. So that certainty is really, really important, But to me, and to what I see in the world, and having coached a lot of people, the actual problem and the fight that we need to take on is uncertainty. And I would encourage everybody to embrace uncertainty, because that's where the artist lives, truly. It's that just jumping off a cliff going, I've got this idea, and I'm going to see how it works. And by doing that, that creates your new knowledge. I mean, this is why, basically, bluntly, Alan Holdsworth is Alan Holdsworth, because he created lots of Alan Holdsworth type problems, didn't he, that he had to solve. And that is the way that he created his unique style. Nobody's winning all the time, okay? And as human beings, we look at problems like, the problems are problems and not like a pleasant thing to have. But when we're talking about musical problems, I want people to think about musical problems differently. I want people to, when they get that awareness about the playing, that they've got a problem to solve, they've got a new mountain to climb that's been created from the last musical journey that they were being on. So you are kind of developing your style by conquering these new musical problems. And I think that's what's important. I think that's how you foster your style. So where Ergo is concerned, this is a really good question, because it's obviously something that he's thought about to do with his style and is wondering about or wanting confirmation about what, you can do about that. So it's a really good question from that point of view. But it does, we do lead on to things about the certainty and uncertainty. So when we're practicing, a really good example of this is, and I'm sure we all do this, is that we will play things that we're certain about. Okay? And when you listen to amazing players, when they talk about practice, they practice the things that they can't do. Okay? So that's the things that they're uncertain of. So if you imagine the slider, okay, and we've got certainty and uncertain, we want to be across the halfway line, okay? And if we look at, I could find it really hard to pronounce his name, Psychos Csikszentmihalyi and Stephen Kotler, they talk about a skill to challenge ratio in terms of percent. I can't remember who said what, but it is 4. I've heard 4% and 7% quoted out of your comfort zone. So uncertainty's over here. This is the midline, and we want to be, into the 4-7% into the uncertainty, and that's the threshold where basically when you're learning something, you're not going to be too overwhelmed and disengaged from it. But then it's not going to be so easy, like when we're doing things that are certain, and that's where you get bored of yourself, that we're going to get bored and disengage. So it's really important to think about your own personal skill to challenge ratio and what you're doing. And also be brave and take on the challenges and the problems, because that is how you're going to grow. Now, I know people probably didn't expect that to come out of me, and they probably did. But, embracing uncertainty, that's what we need to be doing, right? So that's a great sort of question Ergo is saying there, or statement. But obviously learning other people's things will make you stronger, because that's it, that's the material, isn't it? But it's then what we do with that. So do bear that in mind, because it's really, really important. The world, we don't need more of the same players, instrumentalists, musicians, creators. We need something different, don't we? Especially with AI. I mean, AI is doing incredibly amazing things, isn't it? And this is another reason why I focus on this channel, because hey, there's another human being on the end. It's completely dynamic. It's in real time. You can ask me questions. I can play things. We can have a party if we want. We can do whatever we want on here, and it's brilliant. Basically, what we're doing with these types of shows is other human beings are watching other human beings doing something cool, which is what's going to, be left. Because you got to ask the question with AI, right? Okay, what is going to be left? And it's going to be the human connection, isn't it? And I do find, if whenever there's a leap in technology like CDs and things like that, in terms of monetarization and the value that we have tends to go backwards in time. We're in a situation now where instead of money being made off recordings, which is how it used to be, and then tours being in support of the recordings, it's the other way on. It's like people are making money out of the tour, aren't they? And the music is pretty much worthless unless you're massive. And that's the promotional tool. So it's something to be thinking about. So with the event of AI, I think the value is going to go back again in time. So, when you think about Mozart and Bach and all these people, they toured, they played, or they made the money from that, or they had, I think in Bach's case, he had the church would finance him and the council to write music. So things go sort of back in those terms. So again, we're back to this performance, real-time connection, while I suppose AI will be getting better and better and doing everything else, So something to be thinking about, So even now is a time, if you're thinking about playing an instrument, or you're playing an instrument and you're like, oh, you know what, I like doing technology. Don't ignore your instruments. You want to be playing them, is my suggestion. So, back to Ergo's question. So there we have a number of choices. Pentatonic scale, we're using a natural minor, I'm not using the note C, and visualising the fretboard between that, ninth note and the pentatonic scale. Shred options. Okay, so things we might want to do that just come to mind, that I don't often do, but might be good. We might want to do is, we've got this limitation on the second string. I have cheated by going to first there, but let's just say the limitation's this. How about a little 4-note thing going on like that? Let's see what that sounds like. So that works great. So you can get like all of these phrases out of this. Getting more shred like. How about a bit of legato? Okay, and then we get even more sort of down the shred route, where we can look at sort of pentatonic scales. So this is interesting. If I kind of just, that's the end point there, we've got this type of pattern. So pentatonic scale, that's the root, 3, 4, it's a bit of a stretch. And then I've got this at the end. Not warmed up for this yet. Ooh, hard. Right, let's just try it. All right. And then we've got a little hexatonic pattern there. So I'm playing here. Cheating because I'm going on the first string. And this is bordering on the other question, which was mini sweeps, yeah? So this is where you could mini sweep if you want, but I'll warn you, when you start doing stuff like that, you'll think, hold on a minute, maybe I should just learn to economy pick. Okay, but for the case of our question before from Phantom Shade, who is actually Sean, who writes some pretty good music, you should check Phantom Shade out. We're on Spotify. So this little sequence here, again, we're in E minor, and we're starting from the 4th fret. So we've got 1, 2, 4, and then what will happen is we're starting on a downstroke. So we're going down, up, down, down, up, and this just gets us around the awkward, because we've got a basically an odd number of notes that we're playing. So it's a great way to play it. See, alternate picking. The picking direction is going to change every time you start a new phrase. So just to keep everything right, and just make, honestly, there's, like, with me, I refuse to do economy picking, and a lot of that was just to do with ego and stubbornness. I'm going to make alternate picking work, right? But because I just realised that I didn't want to play even notes all the time, or spend my life avoiding things that would force me to go on inside motions when I didn't want to, was just limiting me creatively. So I just thought, you know what, I just use whatever technique I can from now on, just to remove barriers, and that's all that's happening here. So if any of you sort of like, I'm an alternate picker, and and that's what I'll do, just consider this, okay? So we're going down, up, down, down, up. And then we can jump an octave and do the same. And here you hit every note, super accurate. Consistent as well. There you go. So I highly recommend it. Let's just see what it's like. Okay, I think I need to tune here. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? The gloss and the green. It's raw tone, but the light's making it got a bit of a shine to it, hasn't it? And it's got the wear spots where my hand's been. Right. Any questions so far? So, ergo, is this satisfying your interests? And giving you some options. It's quite a difficult space to play, especially, I wouldn't really want to kind of do that bit there. Anyway, we'll do one more because we're talking about the shredding. So this is like ascending. Just pentatonic basically. And again, we're using mini sweeps, economy picking. So 3 notes per string. Again, we're going to start when there's 3 notes per string, and we're going to do a mini sweep or / economy picking. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a down. So 3 notes is always a down, 2 notes we'll start with an up. And that's just so we line up that we're going to go down, down when we're crossing the string. So down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up. And that's another thing, Tom Quayle talks about this, is this expanding and contraction motion of the hand. So for stuff like that, rather than keeping a fixed hand, what I'm doing is I'm keeping the hand close together. And part of this is so I don't get a massive gap between notes, right? Now, the cool thing about this, because we're using economy picking, we can play odd string groupings, so we can play groups of 7 on that 3rd string. dead consistent. Mix it with legato. It's the recipe for success, isn't it? So mini sweeps, Sean. Don't worry, we haven't finished with the mini sweeps. So I'm just going. I'm pushing the economy picking a little bit because I think, like, okay, let's not beat about the bush. Mini sweeps are really economy picking. But do you know what the real power of economy picking is? The true power of it. And I think when people think, oh, I've gone learn to economy pick, I've wasted all my time alternate picking, and it's not. Alternate picking's great, and I do a combination of the two things. In fact, we're seeing it happen there. We combine alternate picking and economy picking. The only caveat is that you have to be good at the inside motion of picking. That's the only thing. So, you know, when you're doing something that's... that little turnaround there, I'm on an inside motion. You can see the angle happening. So I'm turning round. So when I turn round, it's an upstroke. So you've got to have like a strong inside picking motion, and economy picking will get you there as well. So that's combining alternate picking. I know my first ever attempt when I was very, very young was watching the Frank and Barley video, and then he mentioned the thing about using an even number of notes, and I just switched off. I thought, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing functional math skills when I'm trying to be a rock star. So it got switched off. Which was a bit silly, wasn't it? But, you know, then I realised from watching Rick Graham that we can have the inside motion. See, that's all alternate picking there. Nearly all of it, anyway. So we need to just get used to that inside motion, and you're away. So it's a good thing to combine the alternate picking. So Ergo says, I used to pick all the time and got into alternate picking. The one thing I noticed for myself is the sound difference rather than an ease. So there shouldn't really be a sound difference. And I think this is one of the misconceptions about it, is that you're going to sound like a blur, or it's a midpoint between alternate picking and legato. That's not right. I know for a fact, right, that my dynamic range with economy picking's bigger. You know, I've got much more quieter and louder. I mean, there's loads of attack there. I mean, how much attack do you want? You know, there's loads of attack there, and you're relaxed, you know, you're just using the dead weight of my hand and gravity. So it's definitely not. You just got to listen. You know, part of it is you just got to listen to the picking attack as well and even these things out, which is a good thing. Because sometimes we're just playing fast and we're not like listening in any particular detail of what we're doing. So it's really important to listen to that. Anyway, so back to Sean's question of the mini sweeping. So effectively, you know, you could a mini sweeping pentatonic scale would be like this. And I'll do it slow. Let's say we took that, right, just like an ascending thing. What's happening there is, so the first bit of this, trying to work it out, is I'm just playing 3 notes, and it's down, up, down, and then down. And then I'm doing my groups of 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that continues 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alternate picking, you're going to have to change your direction you're picking every time you do a string. With this, it's one direction. And that pentatonic scale that I'm using, E minor, and combining sort of like position 4 and 5 together. So that's those the mini sweeps. The fact is I'm just using one direction to get across the strings, yeah. But we did talk about mini sweeping arpeggios. So here goes. So this is one of my favourite little things to do. Dead simple. E minor 7. And all I'm doing is 4 notes. And then 3 notes. Or you do 4 notes and 4 notes. And you get a nice little bluesy bit at the end. So, 4 finger, pick, pull off to 1, 2, 3, back up to 1, 2, 3. You either stop there, so you've got 4 notes and then 3 notes. Groups of 4s and 3s. Or we can do 4s and 4s. Yeah. So that's one handy one. But then obviously you can develop this further. So how about something like that? There's our chromatic thing. I was getting the Ergo's thing there. There's another one. So you could go 4 finger on the second string on that A note. Okay. Put it into my mic. See what it sounds like with the bag in. So there is a mini sweep, okay? But this is a thing that I've got planned for lots of mini sweeping and just totally different mindset. We're going to learn an E minor 11 arpeggio, okay? And it's a really handy thing. And when I teach this, I want you to think of it not like an A minor 11 arpeggio where we go up and down it, and that's the game. I want you to think of it not like an arpeggio, but how you would play a scale, all right? So in other words, what's going to happen here is this. We're going to go at the 5th, we're going to go at the 7th fret, and first finger. And those are our first 3 notes. We're going to go 1, 3, and 4. And then second finger, it's going to go on 9. So in other words, we've got our root, we've got a 9, we've got a 3rd, 5th, 7th. We want to be thinking about the intervals, yeah? And then we've got our root there, a 9th. And we've got the 11th here, which is A. Whoops. first finger, and that's on the 7th fret. Then we've got the 10th fret, and then we've got the 12th fret. So and then what we can do is we can use that as a limitation. Alright, so we can just, first thing to do, just mess about with little places where you can find sequences. Okay, put the music on, and then we'll just play slowly through it and see what tunes we can get out of it. Okay, so there's like lots of little bits you can use there, but one thing it's doing is it's forced you to do those mini sweeps and legato. So some of the things I played there, having analysed it, is pretty much the sequence we had before down here. So what I'm doing there is I'm picking on the 12th fret, pulling off. You can think of that almost like your minor pentatonic. A, 11, and then we're on the 9 there. So we're thinking about the intervals all the time. And then we go back up this first finger. I think back to start with the backing. So the interesting thing is when you have these little mini sweeps, is then working out the phrases before and after it, or in this case after it. Like what would you naturally play coming outside of that, moving into other areas, you know, not just in using the this arpeggio, you know, so integrating it in with the rest of your stuff. So, sorry, I'm getting distracted. And then you can start making little mini sequences. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? So I'm just repeating that whole sequence twice. Sorry. Making it up, you see. It's a new one for me. So that's quite nice. Let's give that a go. Oh yeah. So again, I'll just check with Sean. Sean, is this what you were wanting to know? Just waiting patiently. Yes. Good. Right, Sean, is there anything you're not sure about that you need me to explain? There is no such thing as a silly question. But I'm trying to get the dynamic interplay going here. Have a really good think, because I don't want you walking away going, oh, I wish I asked that. Because it's all in the detail, you know. Right. But that's a cool idea, isn't it, when you're practicing arpeggios like this? I mean, I love doing it just hammers only. Alright, here's a good question. Tube Stormer. Oh, by the way, anybody who's on here who's not, please subscribe to the channel. That would be wonderful if you could. So anybody here who's watching, please subscribe. Economy or pick slanting, or but both. You need to do both, really. Because when we're picking, we've got inside motions. So the angles still happen. So I tend to angle, so it's a downward slant, and then rotating round. Yeah, I've got to warm it up a bit. So you can see the rotation there. Oh, smash the thumbs up button, of course. Okay. And of course, it's not just the pick slanting, economy picking. You know, when we're picking as well, we're thinking about pick planting, so I want to be keeping that pick quite close to the strings. So planting is just imagining there's a magnet pulling the pick in. Now, what I tend to do is I have a pushing motion. So I tend to push the pick through. And then the displacement, that's the pushing part. And that's how I get the big dynamic range. So I'm pushing the pick. The other part is I'm really relaxed. You could easily whip this pick out of my fingers. And sometimes I like to just see how relaxed I can keep those fingers holding the pick. And then, I mean, you can see how effective that is. You know, considering it's early morning here. And I don't think it really matters whether you have an open hand or a closed hand when you're picking. It's just whatever feels comfortable. I mean, I can sort of do both. But I don't really focus on what my hand's doing. I think it tends to relax and just lie however it is, really. Yeah. trying to think of some more like little mini sweep things. So one thing that I'm doing, which is definitely I would consider to be a mini sweep. So we're back in, we'll do 2. So back in A minor, and we've got, E minor. So in E minor, we've got these really handy 2-on-2 arpeggio things. And what I'm doing here is I'm on the 12th fret of the 5th string. I'm picking, hammering, and then picking. So there's 2 picks there. I think we can count that as a mini sweep. So frets are 12, 14, and then on the 4th string, we've got 16 there. Sorry, my ear's itchy. 2 seconds. Oh, just give it a scratch. These headphones. Ah, that's better. Right. So down, hammer, down, and then a hybrid. Hammer, pick, hybrid. And then it's just sweeping on the way down. So this stuff, combined with all the other stuff, very powerful. I'll show you that one as well. So we've got this one. This is the other one. Loosely based, I tend to think of it like a pentatonic scale, but it maps great over that as well. And we can do mini sweeps like there. I just did a sequence where it was like swept, so whoops. So this arpeggio pentatonic scale is like this. So we've got first finger on the 7th fret 5th string, hammering to the 10th, and that's down pick, and then we're going down, and then I'm hybrid, hammer, pick, hybrid. So there's like plenty of ammunition there, so to speak, to do something. So the real value with all of this is when you're just using, just like Sean's saying, you know, you're mixing up mini sweeps. Because I think, to me, that mini sweep question, it's more of a question of not like technique, but one, I think underneath that, the problem that Sean's trying to solve is, and tell me if I'm wrong here, reading into it, is that he's wanting to expand on his overall phrasing and come up with these mini sweeps and then have nice phrases either side of it. And there's Des. Des, how are you doing? Have you just entered the room? So the value is it's like taking one of these arpeggio ideas, but then working on, oh cool, but working on your phrases either side of it, you know. So if we expand out. You know, it's how we fit our other phrasing round these ideas. What's the main... Right, here's a good question. What are the main benefits of hybrid picking? Hybrid picking, for me, it's probably the most efficient way to cross a string, isn't it? I mean, your finger's there. So when you're doing something like that, really good. I mean, it goes beyond economy picking. Also, it has this great sound where you can really make the notes individually pop out. That's the first thing. The next thing with hybrid picking is we can string skip really easy. You know, there's like little things like that I'll do. So there's like lots of cool stuff you can do with hybrid picking, but mainly for me, it's getting across the strings with things that are really, really awkward, or making, if I'm wanting certain notes to really pop out in a sequence, I'll use it for that. Like something like that, you know, it's brilliant. Because like the other thing it does is it cuts down hand movement, so you're not getting that noise behind everything all the time. And you know, you combine that with hammers only, brilliant. The other thing hybrid picking I really like is doing my legato if I want to give it a bit more energy. If you notice, I'll give the string a little bit of a rub. And just keeps the energy going. But it still gives you the sense that the legato is just coming from this hand. Yeah. Starting to get cold in here again. All right, next question. Have we got any more questions? I thought the two questions I got on Discord, I thought it was going to be, I thought I'd be through them quite quickly, but it's unpacked lots of things. So I really appreciate the questions from Ergo and Sean / Fandom Shade. Excellent questions. Which have sparked a lot of creativity, both of them. Oh, there's Chili. Hi, Chili. Just been teaching a bit of guitar. Good to see you on here. How you doing? I bet it's cold where you are, and no doubt you've started work. I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to getting in the car. Seriously, I'd love to just stay in here and just do my music all day long. Sort my pedal out. That's what I want to do. When will you be teaching bass? Very soon, actually, Chili. So what I've got planned is an SH 101 tutorial for all the SH1 Roland SH 101 people out there, because that is the best bass. One finger, doon, 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 doon. Yeah. So, right, okay. What? The chilly weather report. Yes, it's -1 currently outside. When I was driving to the station, oh, horrible, wasn't it? What time do you get up, Chili? You must get up really early, like me. Right, this is a really good question. Do you find you automatically switch techniques at a very high shredding speed? Absolutely. However, what we've got to remember is, I think Des will probably know more accurately than me, but I think I've been economy picking now for 2 years, and I've been hybrid picking seriously for under a year now. I found hybrid picking harder to do, actually. It took a few attempts. But the trick is, right, is you've just got to keep improvising and using these techniques and being conscious. So at first you'd be very, very conscious of all of these things happening, but it's just trying to let go of that muscle memory thing and just embedding it into your playing. So I'm going to give you something concrete that I did. For the hybrid picking, because I found that economy picking was easy to do in a way, because I was just replacing the alternate picking, the majority of it, 70%, with that. So it was just working on existing licks. So there was the muscle memory here to sort of do that, the capacity. It wasn't like I was suddenly wheeling out a particular lick to do. I was just, everything I was playing where I could do an economy motion, I would do it. So that wasn't too bad. I think the problem there was when I would get confused and try and do alternate picking and economy picking all at the same time, and it would go terribly wrong. But it was just a matter of time and practice, and the way that I would practice is literally real life situations where you're improvising. So not playing with metronome, not playing up and down a scale, just literally playing your usual licks and getting into that motion. And what I would do is, using a backing track like a metronome, improvise, and when I found an area that I was really struggling, practice at, and then practice it slow, half time, and then put it back into real time. So that's like the economy side of it. And then the hybrid picking was a real struggle, because it was like set licks, and it just wasn't blended. I think that's what you're talking about. It wasn't very well blended into my playing. It was like one or the other. So I wasn't keen on that. And I just remember being at work one day, and I thought, right, this has to stop, okay? Right, what I'm going to do is I am not going to allow myself to do any alternate picking, and every single upstroke that I do is going to have to be a hybrid. And that's how I did it. So obviously I was still working on, the typical licks that I would do, but to get it in there, I just basically playing your average improvisation. So, that's how I do. Just try and replace that upstroke with that. The other thing I would notice that I do is it tends to be when I'm ascending, that's when I use the hybrid. When I'm descending, then it tends to be picking and legato, or just picking. So good, excellent question. Just going back on the chat. I think I picked everything up there. All right, keep the questions coming. The floor is open to any questions. Any questions at all. I'm chilled. I can wait. I'm just, you know. Got my hot water bottle. So I think for me, today, I'm probably going to be practicing some of those arpeggios. I think that's going to be my main focus. So my micro practice today is going to be this. I've noticed it's the descending stuff. All right. Sorry, Hutch, going to have to shift 90-mile drive to family today. Thanks for the answers, and we'll catch up soon. Been a pleasure, Ergo. Thank you. Yeah, I think sort of descending wise, I'm having a little bit of struggle on these lower strings. So here. So this is the micro practice thing. Literally what I'll do is I'll pinpoint the smallest area where I'm struggling doing things. There you go. This is it here. I don't feel, well, feeling isn't reliable, but I can see and I can hear that there isn't that much control there as I would like. Going from here to there. It's like my hands can't keep up. So this is like the nature of micro practicing. What I'm doing is, and it's a real cool skill to be learned, is when you're playing something in its entirety, you're just observing, not trying, and then you locate the problem. So just trying to keep our minds blank and observe. And then when you find the place where it's glitching, isolate it to its smallest component. And then you can make exercises out of it. So I've got that one. And then I'll practice a few different scenarios that will lead into that problem. Like that. So that micro practice will also include hammers only. Sorry, hammers only. And now you can hear it's already getting a bit smoother there. Yeah. I digress. So I've got 5 minutes left. So anybody here who isn't subscribed, do subscribe and like, because that would be a massive help. And obviously I want to do more of this stuff, and I'm going to do it anyway regardless. So whether you subscribe or like, the wheels of industry are still going to rotate here, because I have a great time just looking at myself on the camera and playing guitar, really. But it's absolutely wonderful community that I have here, and all of my regulars on here are absolutely brilliant. And I've really enjoyed the day with the questions, and not really preparing for any of it, and just seeing what happens on the live and answering them, which has been great. So I highly recommend people who aren't on my Discord channel join the Discord channel. So there is in the about the Discord channel link. Do click that, do join. And then in general, you can sort of ask questions there, and I will answer them on a live, because that's what this is about. It's kind of helping out a bit. So I'm enjoying doing that. And I've learned, like doing this, playing like this today is really, really helps my playing as well, which I appreciate. So it's good. The other thing that I'm working on, all right. How do you structure your practice regime with aids to you use a chart, for example, notebook? Thank you. That's a really good question. So I've had various things, but what I tend to do, it's all off the top of my head, because I'm playing all of the time. So what I remember. Charts are very, very useful, and when I was sort of messing about with the Messian modes, it was really, really helpful for me to see the whole chart, where I could see the fingering patterns and stuff like that. In terms of my practice structure for today, you've just seen it. So literally, by playing in front of you guys and demonstrating, obviously that's opened up. I'm aware of a number of problems that are happening with my playing, and as you've just seen, I've just organised my very small micro practice. Now I'm going to be round guitars all day, right? So it's very easy for me just to pick something up and practice that for 30 seconds, and then or a minute, and I've got literally hundreds of 30 seconds and minutes in the day. And if I'm just focused on that, it's a really easy way to sort of conquer these problems that I'll discover in my playing. The other thing that I use is actually video. So every time I play on these lives, I watch back my solos and review what I'm doing, and that way I can see exactly where I can see the strengths and weaknesses, and then I can level things up, sounding like a politician that way. And what inspired me to do that was that book Peak, where and basically the American Air Force One pilots in the Vietnam War, what they did to train was they put cameras on their planes and did mock battles, and then reviewed them, and then incrementally improved the strategy. So very similar, that's what I'm doing. I'm basically playing, reviewing what I'm doing, and then coming up with solutions to the problems that I'm having. How many hours do I practice a day? Well, I'm playing all the time, so it varies. Let's have a think. Today, well, I've done a bit of playing now, haven't I? So, there's an hour faffing about with guitars today already before I've even started. I'll probably this morning get another hour and a half in, so I've got and that's all going to be just probably intensive interaction, improvisational stuff. So that'll be, so we're up to 2.5 hours, and we haven't quite got to lunchtime. And then there'll be another, what am I doing? I think I might do a little performance thing. So there'll probably be another hour to hour and a half after lunch. So we're getting up to nearly 4 hours there. And then when I get home, I've got a lesson doing some quite challenging stuff. So a bit of that will be my practice as well, because it's an interesting one. So there'll be a bit of playing there. And then this evening, I'm going to set up my pedal actually, if I can. So I'll be playing then as well. And within that, there's all these micro practices or improvisation. So every time I pick the guitar up, I do try and structure something usually around improvising. I just want to use music as a language as much as I possibly can, and not worry about. I don't really play scales up and down anymore, unless no, I don't really do it. Occasionally, I'll work on my 3-1-3 if there's a problem arising. Then I might go back to doing that, but it tends to be that. So there's probably about 5 to 6 hours playing today that I'll do. I would say that I at least play 2 hours every day. Easy. It's just all the time I'm picking a guitar up. I mean, some of it's not like structured. Sometimes I'm playing. Like a lot of it's performance in a way, or interaction with other people like this. I'm very rarely on my own, which is great. That's what I want, because it's testing your skills out. And every time I play in front of people, I review what I'm doing, wins, problems and opportunities. And I think that's why sort of when I've come back into shredding that I've got good again quite quickly. Not saying I'm brilliant, but it's got me up to sort of my playing potential quite quickly. Having had, however many, a long break from properly shredding. And one of the problems is when you're practicing like that, you easily get bored of yourself, so you start going on little missions. So I'll have, as well as sort of the improvisation and the mechanical side of things, where I'm doing these micro improvisations, then I'm working all the time on, at the minute, I'm really obsessed with enclosures. There's about 13 enclosures to learn, and I haven't got all of them down, so I'm kind of collecting. Like some people collect Pokemons, don't they? I'm collecting chromatic enclosures. So, there's about, I don't know how many. I probably know more than what I think I do. I've probably got about 5 reliably in my playing, maybe 7. I'd have to count them. So, yeah. But then there's, what's he called? The Bobby Harris? Is it Bobby Harris? There's the bebop scale thing, and I've looked at that and I thought, is this a bridge too far? But I've been messing about with that as well. So, what's an enclosure? I did a video on it. So an enclosure is basically you have an approach note, and then you have a neighbouring note. And the approach note usually can be just like a semitone. It's like a semitone going into whatever note that's in tune. And the neighbouring note is definitely a note of the scale. And then everything between those is chromatic. So it's just a way of thinking of it. So when I'm doing my chromatic bits, like an approach note, E minor, I'm approaching to E the root, hammering to the third, minor third there, G, and then pulling off. So that would be an enclosure. Barry Harris, that's him. So those are like little enclosures, and then you can do really cool ones like that's a really nice one. So that enclosure, I'm starting from the 9th there, onto the 4th, and then pulling off to that A flat note, which is completely out of tune, back to the 9th, and then sliding to the G, which nicely takes us into that major 9 arpeggio. Yeah, it's good. So this is something I'm messing about and just adjusting the tolerances of it, like in my own sort of like improvisation, so it still sounds rock. I don't want to be totally jazz. But it's just like little flicks like that that are nice. So it's just, yeah, flavourings, that's what it is. Flavourings. So, and the reason I'm doing that is just because I was really bored of my playing, and then bluntly just came into the whole thing going, I'll do something chromatic. I'm chromatic now, and then I realised there's more to this than we can do things like that. We can be really structured, you know. Say pulling off from the third to the root, hammering to the ninth. So that's another nice one. Yeah, so you can just get nice sort of little phrases like that. Anyway, that is me pretty much done for this morning. It's been great. Thank you for the questions. More questions, please, in Discord. Ask whatever you want. It can be music production as well, because remember, I love synths, and I don't want to forget about that. But I'm loving guitar at the minute, so it's a good time for guitar as well. So questions in Discord, and I'm happy to base a session around whatever you're asking. Other than that, I think me and Thomas have planned to go live this Saturday, so I think that should be happening. So I'll be on there playing. And then I think it'll be Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday streams next week. So it'd be great to have some questions and stuff for next week. I have got the odd thing planned, I think, but we'll see. Other than that, I'll see you Saturday and Monday. All right then. Thank you. Bye.